see if I can see everybody here. You guys hear me? What's up, crew?
Hey, Russ.
How are ya?
Hello, sir.
How's it going, Russ?
All right, Russ. Thanks
Hey,
for
can you guys hear
on.
me okay? Want to make sure I'm not freezing or anything like that. You guys can hear me okay?
We got you. You're good.
Okay. All right, great.
All right, Russ. Thanks for hopping on. Appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right, John Boyle, you're up.
Yeah, Russ, just now you're a couple days removed from that game and from the season. When you look at kind of how the offense was going and then the latter part of the season, what do you think needs to change in 2021 to get back on track?
Well, what I want to talk about first to lead it off, first of all, I want to kick it off with just all the great things. Obviously, I know you guys have questions. You want to figure out a lot of things, this and that. You got to figure out the world's problems here, I guess. But you know what I think about is just this season, John, I think about everything that we've gone through from the beginning to the end of the season. Us coming off of last season's, last season and then coming into the spring, we really felt like we had a great team. We felt like we really had a great chance to be something special. Then next thing you know, we were all excited about coming back together. Then we hit this wall of COVID and, nobody can really be around each other. And it's kind of a crazy, fascinating thing. I've never in my whole lifetime thought that, we'd be installing plays through Zoom. I didn't even know what Zoom was until then. We go through all this process of, learning the plays and teaching guys the plays and going through the whole system. And I thought we did an exceptional job of it. I mean, honestly, I think that one of the things that we did really, really well this offseason is teaching the game and just everybody getting prepared. And, I thought we came into training camp really, really ready. To be honest with you, almost more prepared than ever before, I think, because of, the circumstances and being so distant. And I think, I know for us, offensively, we spent so many hours together and so much time through phone calls like this, virtually, and talking and everything else, getting prepared. I think as a result, we really kicked off the season on such a high note. I think that we really, did an unbelievable job, obviously, of being explosive in our passing game. Really coming out of the gates, just really first, second down, third down, just really executing really in the red zone was exceptional. And we were able to do everything really well in the first 5-6 games or so. I think along the way, you hit, in any season, you always hit bumps in the roads. I think that's just usually kind of the case. And, we hit a couple bumps in the road, along the way, went to Buffalo. That game we were down pretty good early on, and try to kind of playing the catch up game. We felt like, throughout the game, and some guys were dinged up and they had a really great defense. Obviously they're still playing ball right now. And that game kind of was a tough one for us. Fast forward, we come back, we kind of get some good mojo again. We played the 49ers, have a good game against them. And, the season goes on. And I think that, ending up 12-4, was a really spectacular thing. I think really we could have ended up 14-2, maybe even better. We felt like, and to have a season like that, regular season was, I think, pretty spectacular. I think about all the good things of guys like, Jamal Adams coming onto our team and guys like Carlos Dunlap. I mean, that was a big deal. Getting Carlos was, helped change a lot of our stuff on defense and just how aggressive he was, sacking the quarterback. A lot of guys were playing extremely well the second half of the season for defense. And, we felt like we really had a great chance to go win it all. Come to a playoff game as we get there and, we don't play our best. We felt like we felt like we were ready to go and everything else. But, sometimes, a lot of times, and I always tell this to you guys, it's one of those things that sometimes you go and the game, happens the way it happens and you process. The next thing you know, get to the end of the game and it doesn't go the way that you want it to. And the question is, how do we make sure that doesn't happen? Right. I think that how do you overcome those situations where, I think a lot of it is that, we didn't have the ball much in the first quarter. Going back, I've watched it about 4 times now. We didn't have the ball much in the first quarter. And really, even late in the game, we didn't get the ball. We had a chance to come back and we didn't really get the ball in the fourth until too late. It almost felt like. So, second and third quarter, changed the game. I think that the game was in reach. I think that we could have played better for sure. I think that we could have more opportunities, in execution and running the ball, throwing the ball, everything that we were doing. And it just didn't work out. I put this season, in glimpses. I think going back to what you're talking about, John, is that, for me, our expectation is to be the best in the world, right? The expectation is to be the best in the world. And when your expectation is to be the best in the world, with ambition, there comes consequences sometimes. Sometimes there's this and that, and there's responsibility to be the best every day and this and that. And sometimes, the ball doesn't bounce your way. And I think that we had some games where the ball didn't bounce our way, it felt like. And a lot of that, I think, was, we had some injuries, we had some things, and that's football. That happens. But I think that we could have executed better. And it starts with us as players, I think, as a whole. It starts with me. I always start with myself first, and to be the fortunate situation to be the quarterback of this team. We've had so many amazing moments, so many amazing games, so many wins and this and that. And the reason why we do this is to win it all. And that's why you guys are here. That's why you guys are so, intent to, and concerned. You want to win every time. And I think that's a great thing. And I think that's how we should be. And nobody holds a higher standard than, I think, us as players, that we have to make sure that we do everything that we can to get it right. So I think that if you ask me what went wrong, sorry, I know it's a long answer here. I know it's my first time getting to talk to you guys. I didn't really get to talk to you on the exit because I was in meetings all day, and then you guys were rolling already. But if you ask me, if I ask myself what went wrong, I think that we didn't win that last game. I think as much as you could say what went right, what went wrong, I mean, you have to be able to win when you get to those moments, and you have to be able to find a way to overcome. And I think we've done it before. I think we'll do it again and overcome. But I think that in that moment, in that game, we didn't play good enough. They outplayed us, just to be honest with you. So I think that that's the thing that we got to figure out this offseason and going into it, and figuring out how to do that better, and how to catch fire and stay hot throughout the whole season, and do everything that we can to make sure that we're doing our part. Hopefully that answers some of it.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Brady Henderson.
Russ, pardon me. What did you think of Brian?
Where you at, Brady? Trying to find where you are here on my screen here.
You know what? I'm not video on, so it's going to be a blank screen. But what are your thoughts on Brian Schottenheimer's departure?
Kind of breaking up on my end. I'm not sure if is he breaking up on y'all's end, or is it just me?
Russell, he just asked what you thought about the departure of Coach Schotty.
Oh man, Schotty's been a great coach. He's been we've done some amazing things together. The reality is we've led the league in touchdown passes. We've done a lot of amazing things over the past 3 years. We've won a lot of football games and everything else. I think he's a tremendous coach. I think he's a tremendous teacher. I think that, as a friend, as a person too, as well, I've gotten really close with his family. The amount of sacrifice that he put into every day, him being away from his family and stuff like that, because, his kids were in school in Nashville and stuff like that. But just, this amount of sacrifice he's put into it. And I think that he's a tremendous football coach. And I think that he really helped me and throughout my career, so far to have him, in kind of the beginning, middle of my career, and those first, I guess, year 6, 7, 8, or 7, 8, 9, or whatever. It's been a blessing to have him, and such an amazing teacher of the game. I think for him, I think that he's going to be an amazing coach for somebody else. For some other team here soon, hopefully. I think he's going to be a head coach. I think he's got that kind of leadership ability. And I think that, unfortunately for us, I think that. In coach's eyes, it was kind of time to, see if we can make a change and everything else. The things that we did, really, amazing. We're the best team in football. Bottom line is we're the best offense in football for, first middle part of the season. And he was a major part of that. And his ability to lead us and every day and go after it and stay focused, stay positive along the way. So, it hurts because when you spend so much time with somebody for so long, and so many meetings and so much preparation, anytime you go different directions, it's always tough. And I think that me and him have been able to talk since, and I'm excited about where his future, just about, what he'll be able to do in this league. And hopefully he gets a chance to be a head coach one day. I know he really, his dad was such an amazing head coach. I know he's always wanted that. And I think that he'll be great for for other quarterbacks too as well, and also another organization. And so, unfortunately, for us, it didn't work. It didn't work the way that we all hoped and destined it to. But the reality is that we also did some amazing things, and have an amazing relationship with them. So I'm always going to be rooting for him, man. He's an amazing guy, amazing coach, and I'm grateful for everything that he's given me and my family, and also the guys on this team.
And what kind of coordinator are you hoping that the team hires next?
I think that's a great question. I think that's it's super important. I think that Coach Carroll and I, we have to be on the same same wavelength. We've been able to talk obviously over the past 3 days, Coach Carroll and I, about a lot of different things and everything else, and really trying to figure out, okay, how far can we go? Where are we going? What's the plan? And then all that stuff. And so I think a lot of it, for me and Coach to be able to hopefully be able to partner on the thought process of the next person, and really that person really being able to help impact this football team, this organization, and really be a great coach for us and help us lead us to help be a part of leading us to the promised land. Obviously, I think that since talking to Coach after the whole Shotty thing, I think talking to him the past 48 hours or whatever, I think that what's really important is somebody who one is a tremendous teacher of the game. I think obviously like Shotty was, but I think a tremendous teacher of the game, somebody who is a tremendous leader of men, somebody who also is extremely, extremely passionate about the game and creative, and as well knows how to find every single guy's strength, and every guy in that huddle, all 11, including myself, every guy's strength in that huddle. And I think that's such an incredible part to this game, and I think that what's really important is for us to be one of the most explosive offenses in football, for us to be able to throw it extremely well, for us to be able to also run it well too as well, for us to have the up-tempo kind of game, and to really be able to fast pace it, slow it down, to do all the mixture of things that we want to be able to do. I think that there's nothing that we can't do. When you have guys like DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, other guys across the board, the plethora of guys that can run it and catch it for us. The standard, we have to be able to do it all. And I think that's really important, is for us to be exceptional in everything that we do. I think that we can do that. Obviously, we did it earlier in the season for the most part, and we can do it again. We've done it before. So, we've done so many great things. Obviously, us coming off a season where we threw a bunch of touchdowns, threw 42 touchdowns, able to win 12 games and everything else. We need to throw 52. We need to win, 15, 16 games. And that's just how do we find those last 3-4 games in there that we can win those. And that's the margin that we're looking for, right? And I think to be able to find that margin, and hopefully, the next coach, whoever that may be, can help us, capture that fully. And I think we're right there. We're right on that verge of that, and it's time to go for it. It's time to go for it and go win it all, and do everything we can to make sure that we're the best offense in football. And when you have players like DK and Tyler, myself, and other guys too as well, so many guys that can make plays for us. That's the expectation. That's the hope, right? Is that we can do all of those things, and sure enough, we'll be able to. We just got to keep working and keep grinding and do our part.
Thanks, Russ.
Hopefully that answers what you need there.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Ben Arthur.
Hey, Russ, can you hear me all right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Hey, you're great, man. Yeah.
So Pete was talking to us, a few days ago, and saying how he wants you guys to have more of a run commitment offensively, not just, necessarily running more, but running more effectively, especially against, those kind of too deep looks that you guys seemed to struggle a bit with at the end of the season. So I was wondering, do you feel like you've been, your most effective or most productive throwing the ball when you guys have kind of been a run first, kind of had a run first offensive approach?
No. I mean, I think obviously we've been able to spin it. We were throwing the ball a lot early in the year. I think that was probably been the most effective we've ever been, right? I mean, when you think about just all the years, we've been here, done some amazing things over the years, but that's when we've been the most explosive. Obviously, the first 5 games and ever, in anybody in NFL history, really, we were able to do that. I think that in terms of, what we need to do is collective. I think what Coach is really talking about, me and him have been able to coordinate and talk and connect on that front is that we have to do everything extremely well, and I think about it. I mean, if you really want to be a great offense, the best in the league, the best in the world, we have to be able to throw it down the field. We have to, be able to have great concepts and conceptually in the middle of the field, be able to get the ball out quick and call in place for us. Be our screen game. And we want our screen game to be great. We want to be able to run the ball extremely well too as well. We want to be up tempo and change the pace. And I know you guys love that. I love it. When we get to go and these 2-minute situations when the game's on the line, we're able to do all these things, and we're capable of all of that, right? And so the expectation is in 2021, in my opinion, and I think also in talking to Pete and stuff like that too, is that in my mind is that I don't want to just do one thing well. I want to do it all well. I want to be the best in the world in everything, running it, throwing it, tempo in it, 2-minute game on the line. Got one play to, one last shot, first and second down, third down, red zone. We were one of the top teams in the red zone, and so to be able to do all of that, it takes all of us as players, and it takes also great coaching and everybody else too. But us as players is really, really, figuring those little margins, as I was saying earlier, figuring that out. And I think that, against all looks, if it's 1 high, 2 high, it don't matter. We got to do it all. We got to throw it, run it, mix it up, challenge the defense in every way, and really cause havoc in every way. And I think that's what I'm really fired up about and interested in about and looking for in terms of whoever we bring in, is that, let's cause havoc in every form and fashion of the game. And, I think that we have the players to do that. And that's what I'm really excited about. And I think that we were able to do that early on in the season, the first 5 games. Obviously, we did it better than anybody else in the world. And, we need to do it for the next 15 games, if that makes sense, for the full 19, 20 games. And, that's the idea.
Thanks, Russ.
Yeah.
Ian Furness.
Hi, Russ. I'm just wondering, with this hire, have you talked to Pete and John about you being involved in the process, the interview process, and having input, maybe not just you, but guys that are veterans on this team? And how important is that to you, that you have input on who they bring in to work as the offensive coordinator?
Well, I think it's huge. I mean, obviously, I'm going into my 10th year of my career. I think, it's a critical time of being able to – the next 10 years are super critical, right, for everybody involved, the whole organization, and also myself and me as a player, the legacy that I want to be able to create and do, and to be able to set the tempo on, you know what I mean? And so I think it's vital. It's critical, super significant that, obviously that, I'm a part of that process, and coach and I have definitely been talking about John too as well. And, we've had some super long great dialogue about, the thought process of who we want, kind of the idea, kind of leader, the thought process, the innovator, all that kind of different stuff that you want. And I think that's the super critical thing, obviously, at this point in my career, to be able to, because you spend every day with that person, right? I mean, you spend all the time you spend, as many hours as me and Shotty spend together. I mean, I'm going to miss the guy, because we spend so much time together, and you work so hard. The next person, whoever that is, it's like, it's really critical that we're on the same page at all times and always talking and vibing and just really, really on the same page. So I think that it's a really critical point to not just the wins, but also the championships that we want. And also, to be honest with you, me personally as a quarterback, it's imperative to my career too as well, right? And I think how far I want to go as a player, and I think that I think that's something that I'm really dedicated to, making sure that whatever we're going to do to have those conversations and communicate all that, to making sure that we find that. So I'm super excited about being in the mix of the conversation, and hopefully we can find the right person and be a part of that.
So you're confident whoever they bring in, you're going to be comfortable with them, and it's not just going to be it's a Pete guy. It's going to be a Russell guy, a Pete guy, and everybody guy. You're going to be confident in whoever hires.
Yeah, I mean, that's the hope. Obviously, is me and Pete have been talking about it, John too as well. But just making sure that we get all the options possible and find the best person that can help us win Super Bowls, and not just win games, right? I mean, we've won a lot of games, right? But the reality is that I think everybody in this call, we want to win more Super Bowls, right? And I think that's the fun part. So, and I think also in addition to that, like I said, I think for my career is that, I want to continue to grow as much as I can possibly grow. I want to leave this game whenever I have my retirement call with you guys, which would be a long time from now. But whenever that time is, hopefully it's not on Zoom. But whenever that time is, I want to say, man, I got every ounce and morsel of my brain and my body and energy and everything that I gave. I got it all out of me, and that's my hope and desire in my next 10 years of how far I want to go. Is, man, like when I leave this game, and nobody can ever say, man, when I know it, nobody can ever say I didn't work hard. Nobody can ever say I didn't give it all my all every play, every day, and then ultimately, man, like I want to be known as one of the smartest, most creative guys out there on the field. Man, he could do anything. He could do it all, and so that person, whoever that is, in my opinion, you guys still there? You guys freezing on me a little bit. You guys still there?
Yeah, we're still here. Yeah, we're still there.
Lane, you there?
Yeah, you're good, Russ. You can keep going, or Joe Fan is up next.
Yeah,
Russ,
hear me
okay?
Yeah, we can hear you. You got me?
We got you.
Sorry, you guys are breaking up. Yeah, I'm sorry. I think I'm not sure if you guys heard all I said. I think I froze there for a second.
We got you. Yeah, I think
we got you. You're
Hold
fine.
on 1 second here. I'm gonna try to move and see if it works better. You can hear me now?
Yeah, you're good.
Yep.
You guys are freezing. Okay, you guys are freezing on mine. I'm gonna move for a second. Give me 1 second. Hold on 1 second, Joe. I'm not sure if you guys got everything I said there, but give me 1 second here, guys. You guys hear me okay now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
It kind of seemed like it cut off, but basically what I was trying to say at the end there is that, when I get to hang it all up and everything else, man, I can say then that, I gave it my all, I gave it my all every day that I laid it on the line. And also too, is that, I got everything out of it, mentally, physically, everything else, and that, hopefully I can leave this game being one of the best to ever play this game. And I think that whoever that person is next, I think it's a critical part to that process. Right. And that, for me personally, for my legacy, but also for our team and our organization, and how far we can go. So I'm excited about that process. Hopefully you guys got that.
Perfect. And Joe Fan.
Hey, Russ, I'm just curious if you could maybe add some clarity and color to how it all went down, how you learned about the decision with Brian, were you consulted all there? Just what are those conversations like when it's someone you've worked so closely with? And this obviously is such a big decision for the organization and you yourself.
Yeah. Joe, I don't have, I'm fortunate to get paid a decent amount, but I think coach makes those decisions, so, I had my ex interview with coach just about the season and everything else and how we can get better and all that kind of stuff. But, with Coach Scheide, coach makes all the decisions about coaches and all that kind of stuff. So, I was, Coach Carroll called me. I missed his call, and then Scheide had called me, and this is all within 10 minutes probably of all everything. And so then I answered Scheide's call. I didn't see Coach's call, and then I had I was able to talk to Scheide for a second. He told me that Coach is going to call me, so I just realized I missed it. So I think that like I said, I think Coach Schottenheimer is one of the best people I've ever known. One of the hardest workers. I think he's a tremendous football coach. I think that he's going to help somebody's team that's going to be really an amazing team. I think he should be a head coach one day. I think he's a great offensive coordinator. And I think Coach, wanted to change. I think he wanted to, And so that, that's really his decision, but, for me, I know that's really important to me is this next step of, making sure that coach and I really are on the same page of, who can help us along this journey, and also making sure that we're trying to talk about as much as we can. And, at the end of the day, coach is going to make that final decision. But I think that, just making sure that I'm, trying to be involved as much as I possibly can. And we definitely have talked about that quite a bit over the last, 48 hours or whatever it's been.
And that was Monday night when Shotty and Pete called you?
Yes. It always confuses me because we played on Saturday, so my days are all confused. But I think that was Monday. Yeah, the same day that he got released. Yeah, I think it was Monday, right?
Awesome. Great. Thanks, Russ.
Thank you. Yeah.
Bob Condotta.
Yeah, Russ, Pete mentioned specifically just cover two defenses and kind of the inability to get teams out of that this year, especially the second half of the year. Did you feel like that was, I guess, could you put your finger on why that was difficult to get opposing defenses out of that this year? And, what do you need to do, I guess, to fix it?
I don't think we necessarily need to get teams out of it. I think that we have to, we can be able to throw it and run it in those situations. I think philosophically, I think just in a generalized football, like, typically just in general, when teams are in too high, the generalized rule is to run it and all that stuff, but you can also throw it, obviously. I think you're able to do all that stuff. I think that for us, I think that, a lot of times when we were in third and longs and this kind of situation, teams are mixing it up and all that, and which is traditional. That's normal football. I think that like I said earlier, Bob, I think that what's really important, honestly, is just, we got to do it all extremely well, right? We got to throw it versus too high. We got to be able to run it versus one high. We got to be able to run it when there's no safeties and everybody's in cover zero. We got to pick up a key first down. We also got to be able to throw it versus cover zero, like we've always been able to do. We got to be able to throw it versus one high press. We got to be able to throw it versus two high cover two Tampa and do all of that. We have different concepts and be able to mix it up on the defense and just continue to challenge and do all of that plethora of things and to be the most versatile team in football. And I think that is who we should be, right? I think that with the kind of players that we have to everybody that we have, I think it's really critical that we do it all. I think I just got a message about something about Tuesday or something. I don't know. I couldn't see it.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify real quick before we go to Michael Sean that was Tuesday, Russ.
Okay. Yeah. Whatever day that it all came out, got released, I guess, whatever. That's when I found out too. So, yeah. So, okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure I was seeing everything right.
Yep. All right, Michael Sean.
Hey, Russ, you've mentioned a couple of times now about you and Pete being on the same wavelength when it comes to the new OC or just philosophy on scoring points. Are you guys on the same wavelength, and has there been any contention in that relationship over the years?
No, there hasn't been any contention. I think that we, I think for us, I think what's really, really important is making sure that moving forward that we're all on the same page. Me and Coach, we've definitely had some great conversations about, what's the next step, right? What's the next step of this organization in terms of who the next person is? I think also too is what's really important is also for my career too as well, continuing to go as far as I can possibly go. We were able to throw a bunch of touchdowns and do a lot of great things, but there's even more. I think there's 52 touchdowns out there. I think there's 60 touchdowns, and then there's more wins. I think that we're trying to find that margin as I go back to, right, Mike, is that margin of being able to make a difference and to be able to go to the next level, and so I think that's really, really critical. And so whoever that offensive coordinator is I think that, I think that it's really important that, me and Pete and me and Coach Carroll and John are all on the same page as trying to find that right person for us and and for our football team, right? And so I think it is really, really important. And so me and Coach definitely have talked a lot about it, and I think that it seems like we're on the same wavelength of trying to find that right person for us that can do it all and allow us to be up tempo, allow us to be able to run it, allow us to be able to throw it down the field, mix it up, throw it in between, really challenge the defense in every facet of the game. And one thing about me is I want to be able to do it all, right? So I want to be able to make sure that our offense can do it all and does it all. And it does it all extremely, extremely well. And so I think a lot of that's also on us players too, as well. Like we, continue to evolve. And I think about DK Metcalf, how much he grew this year was unbelievable to see how great he was. I think Tyler Lockett was 100 catches, over 1,000 yards, all the things he was able to do. So we can't shy away from those guys, right? I mean, those guys got to continue to make plays for us, and and making sure that we get the ball to those guys down the field, mid-range, short, in between. I mean, and so I think that's really critical as well.
Thanks.
Yeah, hopefully I answered that for you, Mike.
Yep, you did. Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. Larry Stone.
Yeah, hey Russ. You've been talking. You talked about how the offense was humming early in the season. That was in the so-called let Russ cook stage of the season. Do you feel like you can win with that philosophy? Do you regret getting away from that later in the year? And would you like to see more of that moving forward?
Yeah, what I want to see more of is more wins, more championships. So I think every year dictates itself a little bit by personnel, by who you have. I think our personnel, obviously with DK and Tyler, what they can do and everything else. But I think how we start off the season, obviously we can do that. We've done it, and we can do it again. I think to be able to throw the ball down the field, throw it mid-range, to throw it, to be able to throw it on first and second down, to be able to throw it, get convert and everything else in red zone and all that, I think is really important. And what we should, is a key part of what we can do and should do for sure with our talent that we have. I think also too, as you said, Larry, is that, it's not all just about me. I think it's about our team, and it's really about, how we continue to win games. And every game really should partially dictate kind of also who you kind of, who you're facing, what kind of team you're facing, all that kind of stuff, right? I mean, I think it's not just about us too as well. It's also about what they do really well and everything else. So I think that, you go into a game trying to go win the game and do whatever it takes. And I think a lot of that is going to be, a lot of times it is on my shoulders, or, and it's on DK to make plays and Tyler and all that, but it's also us as a collective group. And I think every team, every organization, every athlete, there's always a next level. And we want to continue to go to the next level every day. It's an everyday thing. And I think it starts with myself too as well. And, I think, to be able to win 12 games in NFC West Championship, that's all great. To be able to throw a bunch of touchdowns, that's all great. But the reason why we want to do this is to win championships. And I think throwing the ball is definitely going to be part of that, us winning another championship. But I also think too is us being able to dominate and run game too as well is going to be critical as well. So I think I answered all the questions. I think you asked kind of 3 questions there, Larry. So I'm just trying to track you here. I'm just trying to remember. So is there anything else I'm missing there? I think you asked me. I just want to make sure I answer everything you needed there.
I think you got it. Thanks.
Okay. All right. But yeah, I think also too, is like going back to Larry, I think just what you're thinking about is, pressure's a privilege, to be at this position and to play this, what I get to do is so critical to, not shying away from them. We gotta put our foot down on the gas, and go get them. I think one of the things that you're talking about, Larry, just in general, if you ask me what my kind of belief system is, just in general, no matter how we do it, is, I think we should go score 24 points before the half. Like that should be like, let's go, boom, and like let's get out ahead. Especially how great our defense has been playing, and especially late in the season and everything else. And we can do that no matter how we do it. I don't care. Like let's go win it. Like And so I think that's the thing that I think about a lot. Is let's start early. I go back to the Rams game. A lot of these games that we didn't play great in, if you really think about it, like the Rams, the Giants, we barely had the ball the whole first quarter. I didn't even touch the ball really the first quarter. Both of those games. And so it's like that's not to get going. Like we got to get going and find a way to do that. And I think that's something too as well as we look at and observe this offseason.
Curtis Crabtree.
Yeah, Russell, I think on the surface for fans and stuff, they look at an offense that scored 34 points a game the first half of the year to where you guys were at the end of the year where it was just 22 points a game or so, and have trouble kind of squaring how it got to that point where it seemed like you guys were struggling on a weekly basis to score as often as you did. What do you kind of chalk that up to as to why the production didn't seem to be there as much for you personally, for the team overall, as in regards to scoring points the second half of the season?
Well, I kind of mentioned to Larry, it seems like when I look back at the games that just really weren't good games, like where we didn't play good at all, in my opinion, that not at all, but, for the most part of the standard that we have for ourselves. I go back to the Giants game, I think about that game, how really the game was extremely slowed down. It felt like we never really had the ball, as on offense. I feel like, they had the ball the whole first quarter, it seemed like. And really, they tried to slow the game down. They tried to really slow the game down, especially in that game. I think they go to the Rams game. It kind of felt the same way a little bit. I think I had the ball for maybe 2 minutes or so in the first quarter. And that's not, that was kind of their strategy, I felt like, in a way, in those two games. I remember, for example, the Eagles game. You guys asked me a bunch of like, well, I felt like you guys got stagnant. I feel like you guys didn't play your best. And really, I mean, we played extremely well for the first 2-3 quarters for the most part. I think they have a really good defense, and so they can do some things on defense now. Granted, this is a National Football League. You're not gonna score 100 points every game. But it was like one of those things where we were able to make key plays. DK was going off, right, and catching the ball and doing some exceptional things. Guys were playing really well, and we got ahead, and we had a couple plays there where we could have really separated that game, for example, and felt really good about ourselves coming out of it. And like we could have had 2-3 more touchdowns probably in that game. I think we had the deep ball to DK, just missed on that one. We had the other one, and then we had the run that got called back too as well, right? We had a touchdown run that got called back, and so that's 3 touchdowns potentially. That's 21 more points, and oh, here we go, right? And I think leaving that game, kind of got back on the plane. It's like, dang, like we won, like excited, but it's like, shoot, like, dang, I think we felt like we had a lot more there, right? And so I think there were some of those games where I think as a fan, you go into it and like you're like, oh, well, they should have done this or done that, and I think that in every game there's moments in time. I always call them game altering plays, gap plays, where it's just that 1 to 2 plays that change everything and change everybody's perspective and even as players. And I think that margin is what we're trying to capitalize on, right? That gap, right? Those game altering plays. I think if we can capture those gap plays, those margin plays, I think the sky's the limit for us. And I think we will be back to that 35 points a game and all that. So I don't think we're far off. I think we're right around the corner, and I think we're right there, actually. I wish we could play this weekend, to reestablish that. But unfortunately, we don't get to.
Thanks, Russ.
Tim Booth.
Hey, Russ, it seemed like at times this year you guys might have been a little over-reliant on Tyler and DK in the passing game. How critical going forward under this new OC is developing additional options in the pass game, and maybe in particular someone more across the middle, maybe akin to what you had previously with Doug or Jermaine in the past?
Yeah, I think to have you got to have multiple guys catching the football. I've always said that to you guys that I think my job is always facilitate the ball to the right guy at the right time, and have multiple guys be able to catch it and do things. And I think that's a really critical part to the passing game. For sure, is to have multiplicity and different formations and different looks and different guys catching, and just continue to challenge the defense's mind and process of who they got to cover and where. And and I think even when you just have DK and Tyler, like those guys are so special. That's also a lot of teams don't have DK and Tyler, right? And so that's a huge thing to have 2 guys that can go over 1,000 yards and do all the things they get. And DK's young, Tyler's still young, and so we got to keep getting them the ball, but also continue to develop all the other guys to be exceptional as well. And we're excited about that. And I think that's the exciting part about looking ahead and saying, okay, here's where we're already great. Okay, we continue to build that and go to the next level there with DK and Tyler. But also, too, is, okay, who's the next guy? Like, who's the next guy after that? And continue to build those guys up and continue to nurture that. So, I think Freddie Swain made some key plays for us this year. Obviously, I'm not sure what's going to happen with David Moore, but I think he made some key plays for us. You got to have the tight ends continue to make plays and touchdowns and all that stuff. The running backs, you want everybody's position to touch the football and challenge the defense. And I think that's the kind of players that we do have. And I think continue to find those guys along the way too as well.
Corbin Smith.
Hey, Russ, you've talked a lot about Shotty being a great teacher during his 3 years working with you. When you look back at where you were at the beginning of that run to now, what are specifically 1 or 2 areas you think he helped improve you the most?
Yeah, I think Shotty, I think he brought more stuff to us. I mean, I think Bevel was really extremely smart and cerebral as well. But I think, Shotty being in different systems, I think, obviously he's worked with a lot of great quarterbacks, a lot of different people and systems. I think to be able to mesh that, if I go back to when he first came, we meshed, 75% of what we had already done with another 25% or 30% or so around that time, or, of stuff that he had brought to us as well. And I think we did those things extremely well. I think also too is, I think that as I've continued to evolve in my game, and just continue to make plays and stuff like that, I think that the thing that, he's really brought to me is this ability to really process the whole field and everything that's happening, and to be able to check plays and get to stuff. And I think a little bit of that is, I want more of that and continue to do that, right, in this next OC. And Shotty did a tremendous job of that and really helped, really allowed me to do that, the first and second year in particular, and that tempo of it. And then I think this go around in 2021, I think is really about, I want to be able to get us to anything and everything right here, right now. Bang, here we go. Right. And so I've always been able to do that. But I think also too is that, that being kind of a key part to our offense and making sure that that's, where I can kind of put my foot on this play. Okay, here we go. Then this, boom, 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 and continue to do that. So I think that he was great with that. And like I said, he was a great teacher, not just to me, but also all of our positions, all the guys. And I saw guys grow tremendously. And so I think that was really great. And I think he is going to be great. As I mentioned earlier, I think he's going to be great for another great organization, another great team and quarterback and just players as well.
Thanks.
All right, we have time for two more. So let's wrap up with AJ and then Omar.
Sweet. Thanks, Lane. So Russ, one of the things that you talked about at the beginning of this last season is your legacy and how much you wanted to be the best that's ever been. And you felt a lot of pressure in year 9 to do that. I imagine that pressure is mounting as we head into year 10. So how do you balance your desire to be the best quarterback that's ever been, and knowing that for a quarterback to be considered the best ever, there's a lot of throwing, a lot of making magic with your own feet, and then going back to Pete's desire to get back to running the football first? How do you marry those two desires to get the wins and establish the legacy you want?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think, that's a really good question, AJ. I think legacy is also built on, somebody asked me, can you guys hear me okay? Seems like you guys froze.
You started cutting out there a little
bit. There?
We're here, Russ.
Nope.
We're good. Oh, you are cutting out just a bit.
You guys are frozen on my screen, so. Okay. Let me know if you can't hear me.
Back now. What
I was going to say is that, I see is really truly built on, in anybody's world, anybody's sphere of professionalism, sphere of influence, or whatever it may be, is, I think legacy is determined on how do you affect and how do you impact those around you and the place that you are at, the organization or the team or whatever it may be, the company, the family, whatever it may be. And I think, when I think about legacy, I always tell you this, but it's really that hash mark in between the day that you're born and the day that you die, my dad used to always say. So I hope that my legacy is not just built on championships and wins, but I think hopefully it's built on life outside of football, on community, on the city, on just, the people that I was able to impact and the young kids I was able to inspire. Fast forward into the football part of it, AJ, in terms of, feeling pressure. I don't really feel pressure. Like I get to do what I get to do. And it's a gift. I get to play football for a living. And every day, this is my life. This is my lifestyle. Every day is about this. Every day is about training. Every day is about film study. Every day is about these kind of conversations, you're talking about. How do we find the most? How do we find that last little margin? How do we go to the next level? Every day, And so going to your specific question about Coach and I and everything else, we've been able to talk. We've been able to talk, since that comment about run the football more and this and that. I think we've been able to have conversations about hey, I whatever it takes to win, I'm all in for it. And a part of that is that we got to be able to do it all extremely well. So what does that tell me? That tells me that, for me, I got to get the ball to DK Metcalf. Like, he helps us win. I got to get the ball to Tyler Lockett. He helps us win. All these guys that we got that can catch it and run it. Also, the guys who can run it downhill for us. I think about guys like Chris Carson, which we don't know if he's going to be here or not. But guys like Chris, he's been with us for the meeting. Carlos and DJ Dallas and all these running backs, Penny. Like, we got to have them be the best that they can possibly be. Like, feed into them as much as they can possibly be fed into, and learn as much as they possibly can, and be as good as they can possibly be. Because it doesn't just help me; it helps our football team. And that's really all I care. I care about this organization. I care about this organization being the best that we can possibly be. At the same time, for me in my career personally, it's like, man, like, my goal is to throw the most amount of touchdowns ever, the most wins ever, the most championships. And I got some catching up to do. Tom is over there, winning these championships. So I got to make sure that we do everything we can to win championships. I don't do this to win the NFC West championship, right? I don't do this to go to those Pro Bowls. I do this to win Super Bowls. And we get ready to do everything we can to win Super Bowls and for our football team to be the best that we can possibly be. And at all costs, we have to do that and make sure that we're doing that as a collective effort, from the coaches to the players, and making sure that our team is equipped for all of that. And I think that our defense getting better. Guys like Bobby, Jamal, KJ, Carlos, Diggs, all those guys. I mean, they've been amazing for us. I think about the guys that we have on our side of the ball too. I think about guys like Dwayne, and every guy has made an impact. And I think that we have to find that ability to take that next step. And then so for me and Coach have talked about that a bunch. As I mentioned earlier, over the past 48 hours, about who that next OC is, who that person is to continue to feed into me, but also making sure that aligns with kind of, how I see things and the desire of, what I hope for in my career in the next 10 years and more to, I'm not just limited to 10 though, just so you guys know, but then also too is making sure that, that our football team wins championships, Super Bowls, and what all that takes. And it takes great defense. It takes great offense. It takes it all. It takes special teams. It takes it all three categories. And we cannot settle for anything less than that. That's the real thing, that like, we can't settle for anything less than winning it all. Like, you know what I mean? And I think that we got to make sure that we continually talk about that, continue to do that, and make sure that we're not satisfied till that happens. And I know for me, I won't be satisfied until we win more and more Super Bowls, win this next year, hopefully, and the next year after that, and just, and just do what we believe we're capable of. And if we do everything that we can, I think we give ourselves a great, great chance to do that. And if we do all those pieces and the things that we need to add and, and fix and all that stuff with all the things we already do great, I think it gives us a great chance to do everything we've ever desired to do and everything that I've ever hoped for. And I think everything that we as a team have ever dreamed about. So I don't think we're crazy far off. I just think that we need to take that next step and make sure that we're on, we get there.
Thank you.
Yep. Hey, Russell, best to you and the family this offseason. You mentioned earlier just all the work you guys did virtually in the spring and how you guys kind of embraced growing as a team, given those limitations. And NFLPA President J.C. Tretter recently said that the quality of play on the field this year, may have been reflective of a lot of the good work you guys were able to do without being required to be at the facility for OTAs and minicamp. So my question is one of the faces of the league, what are your thoughts on maybe the offseason going forward from everything we learned this past year? And, if it's necessary to, have those required work, meetings and stuff going forward?
Yeah, that's a great question, Omar. I think, the first thing I would say to it is that I think what's necessary is that everybody stays healthy. What the world is going through right now is way bigger than a football practice. What we're going through right now is way bigger than another meeting, about, X's and O's and this and that. Because obviously we are able to demonstrate that we can do it. We miss our fans, obviously, which does, you miss that part of football. But I think the number one priority is for guys' families and kids and, your kids and everybody's involved to be safe as possible and wear their mask and do the right thing. And I think that's a real responsibility, and a responsibility that I think as players, as organizations and everything else, we have to really be very, very careful with this, because there's nothing that matters besides the life of our children, our family, and our friends and our loved ones, right? And so no matter how much we have or how little we have, that's the number one priority, right? Like we could talk about football all day, but if we don't have our loved ones and our family members are sick or at their deathbeds or something because we were trying to do this or that, and just we got to be smart about this, right? I think now without COVID, if that's what you're asking me, when COVID goes away, and can we do this, do it this way and all that, I think yes, I think we definitely can. I think we can definitely do it. I know for our organization, Seattle Seahawks, we did it exceptionally well. I'm never shocked by the type of ability that we have. But I think that to see how many guys have done such an amazing job of getting prepared. I go back to the rookies. I think our rookies were amazing this year. I think their ability to process information. I think about a guy like Colby Parkinson, how he learned so much. Unfortunately, got hurt, but early on. And I think about a guy like D. Lou. I think about Swain. I think about so many guys along the way that were able to retain and gain so much information and be fully prepared. I think about a guy like Penny Hart, a guy who's fighting for his job and everything else, and how he was there every single day. He was there every day, early and late with me, no matter what it took. Like, hey, that's extra questions, extra this, like boom, 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 boom. A guy like Cody, just always ready, just like those guys. And they didn't get to play all the time. Cody didn't get to play, really get to practice squad, but like a guy like Penny, he got to play some and got in there because of his dedication, right? And his ambition to the game and what he really wanted to do. And so I really humbly respect that a lot. And for no matter what the circumstances are, is that we have a responsibility to get prepared, to get ready. And so if you're asking me what I think that should happen moving forward, I think that number one, in terms of COVID, I think we got to be really careful. Got to be really safe. And I think that with the status of how everything is right now, I don't see us coming back to play, in practice together this offseason, in my opinion, right where the world is. And the vaccine's coming and all that, which is great. And I know people are taking it now and all that, but there's a lot going on. There's a lot of people that are getting sick and everything all over the country and all over the world. I think in terms of moving forward, man, I think that's a big question, but I do think that it is important for us players, ideally, to get around each other. I miss that part of it. I think, if going 5-6 months without seeing your teammates, it kind of sucks. It kind of stinks, you don't get to see them. You don't get to travel together. I know we've gone to Hawaii. We spent time together. We've gone to, different places, and a bunch of us, all 20 guys, coming together and us throwing, football together and talking ball and spending that time and shooting hoops in San Diego and going to a baseball game, or going to the Padres game, and all of us being together like we were, 2 years ago. It was a special time, and I definitely going to miss that part of it, and I think have missed that part of it. So, I hopefully that we can find a good balance there to be able to still get football done and talk football and talk ball and to do that. But this offseason, I don't think there's a way that, I hope that there's a way, but I don't think there is a way that we could do it right now. And I think moving forward I think that it's obviously been evident that we can get it done and still have a great season. The most important thing is the guys being able to take care of their bodies, right? Because, I think it's a really key part of it. And the reality of today's football, even when we are there, you only get to spend a couple hours there. But I think guys have been doing a great job. I know on our team, I can only speak to our team, but I know guys have always done a tremendous job of training and getting ready to roll. So hopefully we can kind of find a good marriage in between if hopefully if we can.
Thank you.
All right, Russell, I've got one more. I can't not get our road warrior, Greg Bell, in for one last question.
Okay.
Thank you. Sorry for the addendum. Russ, it just seems unclear. Were you in favor of changing your play caller right now? And how jolting is that decision at this point in your career?
Yeah, no, if you ask me, I'm in favor of it. No, I think that, I guess, how do I answer this here? I think that, I think that it wasn't my decision to change Shadi, in other words, but I think that Coach Carroll made that decision. I think that, I trust his decision. But at the same time, obviously Shadi and I have been so close. I think he's going to be a tremendous coach. So like I said, somewhere else. But what I am in favor of is our football team getting better. If you ask me, I think what's really important is us winning championship. That's what I'm in favor of. And I think what's really critical is that whatever decision, whether if it's the offensive coordinator, to the guys that we sign or draft, or to the every decision, throughout the season, this off season, everything else is the philosophy, the win. The most important thing is that it's about this winning process and doing everything that we can to make sure we do that. And so that's what I'm always in favor of, is winning. And so, Coach Carroll decided, that it was the time to make a change. Listen, he's been doing this a lot longer than I have, and so, you're going to trust his decision. But I think at the same time, I obviously going to miss Shotty. I think he's going to be great at it wherever he goes. I think what's really important, though, Greg, I think what you're really kind of I think the really important thing is that, what's next, and, and making sure that, we try to do the best that we can to figure out the next person and who that is. And it's a big decision, obviously, right? I mean, it's a pretty big decision, to have changed at this point in my career. But I think also, too, is that I think to make sure that's the right change and making sure that we find the right person. I think we'll do everything. I know Coach will do everything we can to make sure we find the right person. And I'll do whatever I can to help with that process if I can, and making sure that we get the best person for our football team so we can go win Super Bowls and we can all celebrate in a couple of weeks instead of now. You know what I mean? And so hopefully that's the case. Hopefully I answered that, Greg. I don't know if I confused you more.
No, you did. It was unclear. It had to be asked, I thought. Thank you as always. Thank you, man. Yeah. So hopefully. Oh, and you're in California right now, right?
No, right now I'm in Mexico right now.
Oh, okay.
Just came down here just now.
Enjoy. Thanks.
Enjoy the warmth.
Yeah. Is it cold where you guys are? Is it freezing right now?
What do you think?
Is it raining?
January in the Northwest, Russell.
Mike, my man Mike over there is laughing over there. You freezing over there, Mike, or what? I mean,
man, what do you think? You're in Mexico, man. I'm in Tukwila.
It feels like you're rubbing it in, Russ. Like it does feel like you're rubbing it in a little bit.
Russ, you know this, man. You know what it's like here
right now. I've been with Future every day and Sienna and Win. That is the only blessing in this, is that you get to spend time with your kids, and when you put 20 plus weeks of every day, just every day, every minute of your day. You guys knew my schedule, like every minute of my day. I was talking to somebody who's like, how busy are you? It's like every minute is planned out, every minute is thought out of my day during the season. Like you do everything, and then I hit this empty space like right now, and it's like, okay, what do I do? It's kind of weird. So it's funny. I've been asking C can you rate me on a scale of 1 to 10 how I've been with the kids today? So it's actually been fun. So I was 7.5 the other day. I was a 9.5 yesterday. I'm trying to get a 10, but I've been on the phone with you guys so long. I'm not sure if I'm gonna get a 10 today, but yeah, I'm trying to do my part.
Careful when your kids get older, Russ. You don't want to ask your wife that question. It will never.
I like the advice. Well, listen, guys. Like I said to you guys before, when I was taking off, super grateful for you guys. I mean, obviously, we didn't end up where we wanted to. It didn't happen this year. We felt like we were building. I mean, think about how many games we won, close games at the early in the season, how much it felt, how great it felt, and then go through this journey of the season, still end up 12-4, and no, it felt like we felt like at one point it's like, man, are we good? Like people are like, oh, you guys are struggling this and that, and we're like, we're still 12-4, like kind of scratch your head, and then get to the playoffs and we didn't do our best, and so to be here right now with you guys, I just want to say thank you guys for the journey. I know you guys miss being at the facility and all that too. You guys are usually in the thick of it all. But I take this job very seriously. I'm grateful for it. And every day I wake up, I get to thank God every day because he's given me the opportunity to do it. And, take that for granted. So, for me, I'm never satisfied with being second place. That's just, I think you guys have known that about me, but I'm never satisfied with being second place. So we got to do whatever it takes to make sure that we're the best in the world. And we deserve that. This organization deserves that, to make sure that we're the best in the world, and we figure that out. And so we're going to do everything we can to make sure we do that. And it's going to take some time, obviously, because we don't get to play. You guys don't get to see it in for about 5 months or so. But hopefully you guys get to see the next step of the Seattle Seahawks and where we're headed. And I think you guys are a big part of that. I think that I'm grateful for you guys, like I said, and I just pray that you guys stay safe. The last time we had this conversation last year, we never knew all this stuff was going to happen, right? And all the things changes in the world and people and things and everything else. and the losses that we've had. So I pray that this group, I know I get to talk to you guys and you guys ask me questions and this and that, but I am grateful for you guys when I get to be around you all. And so the reality is that we never know what's going to happen. And so don't take these dates for granted, and make sure that you love somebody every day and find somebody to encourage. And I'll try to do the same on my end. So I'm grateful for you guys, and hopefully we get to see you soon.
Thanks, Russ. We appreciate your time.
Thank you, Russell. Thank you, guys. All right, go home. See you guys later. Okay, all right, bye-bye.